Yep, there he is. Okay, I don't know if you could
see me, right?
Right, exactly. Couldn't hear him breathing. Now you can see him.
How are you guys doing?
Hey,
We're doing okay. You guys had a very good week.
We had an amazing week. I mean, my father was on fire. We had an amazing week. He was all over. He was talking about ISIS. He was talking about African-American youth that's been left behind in this country. I mean, he had an amazing week. He was spot on message.
Should he have been on the teleprompter earlier?
No, my father's my father, and he's larger than life, and he's great, and he's fun, and that's why you have 15, 20,000 people coming to these rallies, and then you look at the Clinton rallies, and you have 2 people there, right? I mean, people like that. It's so different than the standard politician. I mean, he's finally made politics exciting again.
You know, what some have speculated, and you tell me if this is true, until he saw a dip in the polls, he wasn't going to change. When the polls clearly were starting to go against you, that's when he said, I gotta shake things up and change. And he did.
Yeah, well, listen, he's a great agent of change. He gets it. He gets momentum, and he gets everything else. And listen, you know, when polls go like this, and we're back in the lead. You probably saw the LA poll times yesterday, where we're 2 points ahead, which is really exciting. And you know, he's doing great. I mean, he's really, really doing incredibly well. And you know, we're proud of him. The family's proud of him. And the energy out there and the groundswell of support that we have all over the country is really incredible.
Your dad and Governor Pence, they decided at the last minute Thursday night to go to Baton Rouge and to meet those families, shake hands with the victims, and provide some relief effort. The president and Hillary Clinton, we've seen the images all weekend. They were playing golf, or he was playing golf. She was in Martha's Vineyard for some fundraising events in Nantucket. And then he decided, the president decided to go down to Baton Rouge on Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. Did your dad did he force his hand?
Listen, there's no question about it. I mean, to me, it's awful. I mean, to me as a civilian, it is horrible to hear you. I mean, not even that the president could have done anything down there, but just the optics of it. Here you are in Martha's Vineyard playing golf for a week on end while people's houses are underwater, while their lives are destroyed, their cars are underwater, you have coffins floating down the street. I mean, the optics of it is horrible, right? We live in America. Your government should be there in a natural disaster, and it wasn't. And I mean, the fact that Hillary was fundraising while, you know, my father and Mike Pence were offloading goods from trucks. Sure. I mean, it just tells a story and the difference of leadership qualities between those two individuals.
Particularly given, Eric, what Barack Obama said about George Bush in a similar situation regarding Katrina, and then, you know,
it's amazing.
It all turned around. What's interesting, though, is before your dad and Mike Pence went down, the governor of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards, had suggested, well, I hope it doesn't turn into a PR, a photo op or something like that, which was regarded as some criticism. Then, after your dad came and went, he thanked your dad for bringing attention to the floods.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was actually a really, really nice statement that he made. And he said, listen, thank you. No one's paying attention. Again, you have the optics of the president playing golf as opposed to focusing on this Gulf state that's in total disarray and total ruin. People's lives are turned upside down. Thank you for coming down here and putting real attention on it. And quite frankly, if my father didn't go down there and he didn't put the pressure on him, Obama wouldn't be down there.
Well, the problem
There's just no question about it.
He did show up in New Jersey and Sandy, right after Sandy, and Mitt Romney, remember, everybody suspended their campaigns to do this, and because he was running for re-election, perhaps. Meanwhile, Christy Alley came out and said this, who's the famous actress from Cheers and everything else, said, my point is, do you think the USA wants to see you, this is a message to the president, playing golf while Louisiana is 20 feet underwater and people are dying?
Yeah, she tweeted that after she also put out a video from Barack Obama criticizing George Bush.
It speaks to the lack of leadership in this country. And listen, I can tell you this as a guy who's been around my father his entire life. When there is a problem, when there is a natural disaster, when there is an issue, my father will be the first person there. I mean, he will just be the first person there, and the American people can count on that.
There were some headlines after a meeting, I believe it was over at Trump Tower over the weekend with Hispanic leaders. Yeah. BuzzFeed's lead was, in reversal, Trump indicates to Hispanic leaders openness to legalization for immigrants. Yeah. Sounded like he's doing a 180.
Listen, I don't know where the article came from. Actually, my father's speaking about immigration all week, so I won't steal his thunder and his fire. But my father's immigration plan is pretty simple. He wants secure borders. You have to know who's coming into the United States of America. I mean, you just can't let people come in unchecked. We have 100 million people in this country that are out of the workforce, right? I mean, We have manufacturing jobs in this country have gone down 1/3 since 2000. We're losing jobs across the board, yet people are walking in unchecked, and we don't know who they are. And they
so
can be
secure the border, but what about the illegals in the country right now?
Yeah.
You know, your dad had talked about a deportation force in the last year. Now that's to be determined.
And listen, he's going to be speaking a lot about that this week, so I'll leave it to him. But my father wants a safe country, and he also wants Americans to have jobs. I mean, they should come first. You were born in this country. You were born here legally. You're here legally, right? I mean, wages have been stagnant for the last 15 years, and it's because you have, you know, Syrian refugees coming in. It's because you have, you know, thousands of people coming over the border. I mean, and Americans are suffering because of it, and that's his point. So he's speaking to Hispanic leaders and Latino leaders, and he's having really amazing conversations. He's also speaking to law enforcement. He's speaking to Border Patrol, and, you know, he's going to formulate a really, really great plan that's humane and ethical and that treats everybody well. But we have to solve a problem. It's a real problem for this country.
Eric, what's your response to the critics who say it's a flip-flop? Because you had your dad saying 11 million illegal immigrants here in the country, that he wants mass deportations. Then you had Kellyanne Conway, who just joined the group last week, and she said, we're going to address this issue. We're not exactly sure. It's yet to be determined, but she said we're going to do it in a fair and humane way.
Yeah, my father hasn't flip-flopped on anything. I mean, this was all the auspices of one article that came out that wasn't grounded in any substance. But again, my father's giving a big speech on this on Thursday, so he'll be talking a lot about the specifics.
So the shakeup or the change happened at the beginning of the week, and then yesterday, on Friday, coming off a very successful speech, most even critics would say, from your dad, Paul Manafort goes, I handed my resignation.
Yeah.
Was part of the reason that Manafort's not there, is it the belief within the Trump camp that he was the one who leaked the story to the New York Times?
No.
About disarray within the organization?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, Paul is an amazing guy, and I have tremendous respect for Paul. And, you know, the job he did with the delegates and the convention and everything, which is really why he came into the campaign, was truly amazing. And Kellyanne is an amazing person. She's going to do a great job. She's going to take us through November 8th.
You don't think they both could have coexisted?
Oh, could they have? I don't know, possibly. You know, I think my father didn't want the distraction. I think Paul didn't want the distraction of what he was dealing with and some other things. But, you know, Kellyanne's amazing, and Paul's a guy that I hold in incredible regard. I mean, he's a great person.
Clearly, she's doing a good job. I mean, everyone's saying he had the best week of his campaign last week.
It was a great week. I mean, it truly was. I was actually with him in North Carolina, and I was with him in a bunch of places. And obviously, you were down in Louisiana with them, and it was an amazing week. They were spot on message. And
no, I tried to go to Louisiana, and they said, we don't want this to be a photo opportunity. We're going to help the people. So Ainsley, you stay in Indiana.
You did the great interview with the governor. That's right. Yeah, of course.
It's interesting. There are a couple of stories out this morning that says that Republican leaders are worried that Donald Trump doesn't get it, that he needs to make this a referendum on Hillary Clinton, because ever since the DNC, Hillary has made it a referendum on your father. You know, does he have the judgment? Does he have the temperament to be president of the United States? And to a certain extent, that has worked. Will this campaign going forward be a referendum on Hillary?
Listen, it's going to be both. But I find it interesting. My father, the last several weeks, the only thing he's been speaking about is specific issues, whether it be ISIS, whether it be exactly how to defeat them, whether it be how to revive these inner cities. Yet, you hear nothing from Hillary. She hasn't had a press conference in, what, 270-something days?
Because your dad's been positive and not been making news, there's been unbelievable scrutiny on her foundation, on the emails. I could not believe how the scrutiny over this weekend.
Well, look, I mean, look at so many things. Okay, so the emails, and everybody knows about the emails, and that is truly one of the worst things. Look at the $145 million that comes into the Clinton Foundation from, effectively, you know, the business people behind the uranium deal with Russia, where we give 20% of the uranium stockpile of the United States to Russia.
They bought it
on her watch. And the Clinton Foundation gets $145 million. I mean, why are we giving uranium to Russia?
American uranium, dug out of the United States.
It is absolutely insane. I mean, just the levels of corruption and the Benghazi and the emails. And, I mean, you can go down the list, but, I mean, here's the Secretary of State between 2007 and 2014 made $141 million. She's supposed to be representing the interests of the United States of America. She made $141 million. While people were dying in Benghazi, you know, she's out giving speech. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is truly unbelievable.
And supplying bomb-making material to another country.
There you go. All right. Eric, we know you've got a really busy week. Thank you very much for dropping by.
Thanks, Eric.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Brian, thank you.